What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel in another video. Today I wanted to go over something I changed out, it was last year, so it's been about a year since I've changed this out, but I went ahead and switched out the VKS sliders for the LOD sliders. Now, why in the world would I change out a perfectly good working slider for another perfectly good working slider? It doesn't really make sense, but there are a few reasons why, and they have made a huge difference in the way that I use my Jeep, as well as how my passengers feel when they're getting in and out of the Jeep. So let's go ahead and go over those today, guys, because I really like these sliders and I wanted to do a review on them so you guys know why I picked these versus just keeping the VKS sliders. So the main reason why, and you know, this Jeep has about 5 inches of lift total on 37, so it's pretty tall, pretty tough to get into. All Jeeps are kind of tough to get into just the way that they're set up. So obviously, having a step is something that you might want to consider when you're looking at sliders. Now, obviously, my passengers, including my fiance, did not like that there was no step. You know, it's very hard to get in there, and it's tough, you know, for people to get into the Jeep. For me, I'm used to it. I know exactly how to get in, and I very rarely use the step, but it's nice to have. So that was one big reason, was the step, obviously. So my passengers could be a little bit more comfortable when we're driving around, getting in and out of the Jeep. Another reason why, and again, this is my fault. This has nothing to do with VKS and their product. They make a great product, but the paint. So obviously they come unpainted. So I did the painting and prep myself. And while I felt I did a really good job doing it, I put like 4 coats of paint on there and I let it dry a long time just to make sure that nothing was going to happen to that paint. Obviously it's going to get scratched up when you get on the rocks, but only to a certain extent. Well, the paint did not hold it as well as I'd hoped it had. So I was having to retouch it up all the time, and it was chipping without even going off-road, and it was really bothering me. And instead of repainting it, I already wanted to get a step, so I just decided to go ahead and sell the VKS sliders to someone that actually watches the channel, and then go ahead and upgrade to the VKS. So I would say these sliders are about the same as far as quality goes, but they have different functions. So let me go ahead and explain a little bit of pros and cons about these LOD sliders. If you want to see pros and cons about the VKS, I did a video on that. I'll see if I can link it right up here for you guys. But let's go ahead and do some pros and cons on these LOD sliders. So here are the VKS slider, or the LOD sliders here. Now, as you can see, they do have a step welded in here. Goes all the way back, so it is really nice to have. I would say that's the first pro, is having a step, because with the VKS, they came up to about right here and they fit really tight, so you could not really use them as a step. It was very difficult to do. So having this step, I would say, is the first pro, because like I said, having a tall Jeep like this one, I mean, like I said, about 5 inches total lift on 37s, soon to be 40s down the road, so I mean, it's going to get even taller. It's nice to have that step, even though I don't use it very much. All my passengers do, and they've even commented that it is easier to get in and out of. So that is a big pro right there, and something you need to consider when you're looking at sliders. Do you want a step, or do you not really care? Another pro here for me is going to be the looks. I really like the way that this sits on the Jeep. I really like the way it comes around, and it just really blends together well. I did add on the Evo rock skins there, so I really like the look of it all together here. And I will tell you, I've hit this against multiple rocks, and even had the full weight of the Jeep on here. It has not touched this even once. So very impressive how well the design and looks are on this, as well as the function. So it's not just the looks, it's also the function, but a big pro here is the looks. They just look super clean. I really like the panels down here that you can replace if you need to, but I think it just gives us a really cool look. And these are a very popular slider, so obviously I'm not the only one that thinks that. Another pro is going to be the mounting. So what's really nice about these is they bolt on, or you can also weld them on to the frame. And again, I've mentioned this in previous videos. You can go back and watch those, and I kind of explain a little bit more in depth about it. But having them mounted to the frame where you know it's not going to move, you know, it's attached to the Jeep. Obviously, it's the whole base of the Jeep. If you hit a rock, you're going to slide over it. It's not going to bounce into the body like previous sliders that I've had. And that's a big deal. You know, you don't want to do body damage when you're not trying to. You know, obviously nobody tries to have body damage. So having a firm, solid slider is a big deal. And the way that these mount is super solid. It mounts basically the same way the VKS did, which to me was a huge deal. So as you can see, this first hole is already here. So you don't have to drill that, but you do have to drill out all the rest of them here. I believe it's 2 on each one, and the bottom one was already there as well. So you have to drill 2 holes, so 2, 4, and then this one was already here. So it does make it really easy to mount these up. You do have to drill, which does suck, and I'll mention that a little bit later, but this is a very firm slider. You know, you can put the whole weight of the Jeep on this slider, and it's not going to budge. And that's a huge deal when it comes to wheeling. If you're wheeling your Jeep, I would definitely recommend that you have a frame-mounted slider. And it doesn't have to be bolt-on. You know, you can weld it on too. The reason that I went with the bolt-on option is because I want to be able to take these on and off as I wish, not have to cut them off every time if I want to take them off and repaint them or something like that. And that's something that's going to be different for everyone. You know, obviously welding is going to be stronger, and who knows, maybe down the road I might weld these on. But right now I want the option to remove these with just some bolts if I have to, not have to cut them off every single time I want to remove them. And another big thing, guys, is going to be that these come pre-powder coated. And again, I mentioned the paint earlier in the video. Painting sliders is not fun. You know, you're gonna have to touch them up every now and then if you're actually using your Jeep, but it's something that you want to have that good base coat and a really solid foundation when it comes to the paint, because it's gonna make your life easier down the road. And having these pre-powder coated is such a huge advantage. You know, I'd rather pay the extra $100 and have someone pre-powder coat these versus me having to paint them. You know, to me, it's worth paying the extra money. And to others, it might not be, you know, and that's totally fine. But for me, this is a huge, huge pro when I'm looking for a slider, and LOD has a fantastic powder coating process. I mean, like I said, I have been on a rock with the full weight of the Jeep, slid all the way across, did not remove any paint at all. So very impressive. And they are a little dirty right now, but I mean, you can, if you look, you can see there is like no removed paint, maybe a tiny bit down there, but just a very, very solid powder coating process. It looks really good. It blends really well with the other pieces here on the Jeep as well. So that was a big deal for me. You know, not having to match the paint and also just having it pre-done for me is such a huge advantage. And like I said, to some people it may not be, but to me, I'd rather pay the extra $100 and just have this done. Now, for the cons, and I was struggling to find any cons, truthfully, but one con that you guys may want to think about is going to be the drilling that is involved with the frame-mounted bolt-on version of these. So if you're going to do that, it is a lot of work. You know, drilling through the frame is tough. You know, it's going to take a little bit. You're going to have to use some oil so that you don't burn up your drill bits. I went through 2, and I was very careful, so it's definitely something that's going to take a while, but to me, it's so worth it with the end result here. You know, being able to remove them as I wish, not having to, you know, have someone weld these on, because I'm not a welder, you know, I don't do that. But, you know, even though the welding is a stronger version of this, I'd much rather have the bolt-on where I can take it on and off. And to me, the drilling was not a con, but to some people out there, drilling may be, because it is a lot of work to drill all those holes. But yeah, so here you have to drill these 2 here. You have to drill, I believe there's also, yeah, there's 2 here, but this one I actually have out right now. I couldn't find the bolt for it. I think I may have broke it by accident. But it's tough, you know, that frame is pretty thick, so it's going to take some time, but the end result is so worth it. And you just have to take my word on that. You know, it's a very firm slider, very strong, worth every penny. So I would recommend this to anyone, even with that con of having to drill it. The mounting is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but if you take your time, you know, it took me about 2-3 hours to finish the job. Take your time, make sure your holes are straight, make sure you are very precise with where you mark your holes, and you'll be just fine. These will mount up really good. And LOD has a really nice set of instructions that make this really easy to do as well. Well, that's going to do it for today, guys. A little bit of a short video this week, but wanted to go over those sliders because I did change them out, never mentioned it as far as a video goes. And I want to show you guys what's so great about the LOD. And again, I'm not bashing VKS. I loved those VKS sliders, and I would have kept them if I didn't want the step. So it was something I didn't think I wanted when I bought the VKS, but I do want it, and it was something that for me was worth swapping out for. And the LOD is just as strong as the VKS is. It's not a strength thing. It was just for the step. That was really the main reason, as well as the paint. So again, you can't go wrong with either one of these brands, but I have been extremely happy with the LOD so far. Would highly recommend to anyone that's looking for a strong slider. And if you're wheeling your Jeep, there's no better option than the LOD. VKS, I think, actually is out of business now, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong on that, and I'll mention it in the comments if I am. But I'm pretty sure VKS actually just stopped producing parts. So right now, LOD might be your best choice. There are other options out there on the market, but I've been very happy with these LOD, along with the looks, the step, and the strength. So would highly recommend them to you guys. And also, the winner of the giveaway did not message me, so we're gonna pick a new giveaway winner. So please watch your comments. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick a winner from the wheel. I'm gonna spin the wheel again, and I'm gonna comment on that video, the original video for the giveaway where I announced it. I'm gonna comment on one of you lucky guys' posts, your comments, and I'm gonna give you some information about how to contact me, because that's how I'm gonna do the winner now. So just look for those comments. It should be coming here in the next couple days, and we'll get you guys new parts. So we're going to get of course, the Alien air down kit, and also the TerraFlex brake line anchors. So again, I'll comment on your comments. That's on the video where I announced the giveaway. All you have to do is contact me, and we'll go ahead and move forward with getting you the giveaway prize that you've won. So make sure to watch out for that too, guys. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe for more Jeep and off-road content coming your way.